All right, everybody, let's do a brief audio and video check. Let's make sure everything's working good. The buffering's taken care of. How's everybody doing? How are you, Coach Jay?
Doing good, Dakota. How are you?
Good. Just taking a look at these markets for the first time tonight. They are rallying, right? These markets are going up even after the bell. It wasn't looking too good for a moment. I stayed a little bit after the markets closed to take a look at the earnings. I seen Teslas, and that didn't look too well, and things were looking a little bit, red. I didn't stay, and I didn't listen to any of those earnings calls, but yeah, apparently we are rallying. We're up here at these 630s here in the Nasdaq. This is a 5-minute chart, but yeah, when I turned my charts off, we were selling off near around the lower 400s. We're 200 points higher, and we're continuing to push higher. How was at the buzzer? Like, what's your thoughts on this market while we get into it, and then we'll
it was
go through our
good.
regular.
We talked about the different earnings that came out. 4 major companies reporting earnings. Tesla looked bad. Meta looked good. Microsoft was kind of in the middle. IBM took off. IBM was like up $40 after their earnings. But we know it's going to affect the equities markets. We have more earnings coming out tomorrow. Apple is out tomorrow, as well as Intel, I believe. So we know they're going to affect the equity markets. Today was not the type of day that I expected with all of the crazy stuff we had going on. FOMC, I guess when they have a rate decision that is exactly what was expected, the markets don't react. There was actually more volume on the Trump comments than there was on the FOMC rate decision, which is interesting. But yeah, these markets are moving up. Levels I'm looking at, I have levels in the S&Ps, 6087. There were some 1,000 lots that got filled there. We're trading above those now, but 1,000 lot bids got filled at 6087. That's my one major level that I'm looking at for the day.
Buy the dip, man. Buy the dip. We've seen that play out today. Yeah, I had a nice analogy, a sports analogy going regarding some of the Trump comments that we've been seeing over the past few weeks where, yeah, I went, so, I've been sparring, Coach Jay. Well, today I got put to the canvas pretty hard by 17-year-old.
Headshot, body shot?
Yeah, so this is the question, is what is the most effective punch? What's the most dangerous punch in boxing for all the boxing fans out there? What's your thoughts, Coach Jay?
Right there on your kidneys, right there.
Right. That's the most. It's liver. Someone's saying liver.
Yep, liver, kidney, whatever it is.
My answer to that is the one you don't see coming.
That too.
Caught me off balance. It was bad. Man, 17-year-olds are fast. Like,
yeah,
super, super fast. It's not like one of those like really knock you out very hard punches. It's like you get off balance at all. And, if you don't see it coming, you are going to be on the canvas. And so putting that into an analogy into these markets, we've seen it a few times last night where we're trading, markets going smooth, and then just boom, random Trump tweet, random Trump comment, and the market sells off 80 points, right? We've seen that the other day. And the way that we always need to be looking out for that, regardless of time of day, especially during this low liquidity, is having a stop loss.
Having a stop loss, kind of staying out of it. I embrace the volatility. My one winning trade of the day came after those Trump tweets. I talked about it on At the Buzzer, but letting the dust settle, kind of like those news events, letting the dust settle and then placing a trade from there. There's a ton of opportunity in it, but if you're holding a position, random tweet comes out, random comment about tariffs or whatever it is, best thing you can do is have a stop loss in for every position and just, see what the markets do after the fact.
Yeah. Other than that, I got to, some of the traders, I would say the jab. Yeah. The jab is probably the most effective punch.
Who was Ryan Garcia fighting recently where he took a body shot and then it registered like 3 seconds after?
Yes. I don't know. But that's what body shots do. It's
Yep.
straight to the liver. You can't hide it, man. You could be the toughest
Yeah.
guy in the world. Uh,
It was
it's
Tank. It was
delivered.
Tank.
Anthony or Javante Davis.
Yep, it was Tank. Yeah, he hit him. It didn't even look like that effective of a punch. You could see he's like, oh, okay. And
It's a
then
delayed
2 seconds later, he was on. Yep, 2 seconds later, he's on the ground.
Man,
It
that's
hurts.
what the FOMC did to a lot of traders today.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
How did the FOMC treat you?
I was done trading by then. I was done trading. I took a trade at around 1:30 Eastern time, so about a half an hour before. Was able to capture 50 points on the Nasdaq and shut it down from there. Decided not to trade.
That's good. I only took one trade as well, and it came well after FOMC, and it was just like 30 seconds in and out. But man, as we're talking, this market is continuing to rally. Let's get through it. Let's get through the rapid fire, Coach Jay. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq. Has a lot really changed other than buy the dip? And we are seeing these 660s come in tonight. We're seeing a lot of volatility. Let's start it from the daily and kind of go on from there. Not really too much to talk about on the daily other than we had that huge sell-off starting Sunday, basically Friday, and then again Sunday night, Monday. Big sell-off. We have that gap. That is starting to look really interesting tonight. The gap around 770, and it started around 900. And so that is going to be very important, I feel, going into tonight and maybe even tomorrow. Can we see an attempt to test or at least fill that gap? That's what I'm watching. Obviously tonight, we had FOMC during the day. We had the earnings tonight, but we made higher lows, right? You can see these higher lows came into play, and we continue to see higher highs. So the next, expected move is to make a higher high, which is going to be above, these 690s. I mean, maybe even during class or tonight before the open tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Thursday? I'm not going to be on for Topstep TV, but yeah, I could imagine could be a decent chance that we go and we make a higher high, and maybe we come up to these 770s, test it, and then can we fill that gap from Sunday? Is going to be what a lot of traders are looking at. A lot of traders are going to be wondering, seeing if we can make that gap fill, or at least maybe get to some level of resistance around there. Here we are. We're up what? 0.64%? Is that right?
0.64% already. Yeah. This is a pretty crazy move. But it goes with the theme of most of the trades, or good trades at least, happening in the overnight sessions. It's a pretty one-directional trend we're seeing right now.
It's pretty on the 5-minute. It's just been the last 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes,
just straight up
going up. Yeah, maybe we could see a little bit of resistance if we could get up to these 80s or 690s, 680s. But we're seeing just as much volatility now as we've been seeing in the New York session, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this entire range, we just had 130 points from the open. The New York session entire range was 240. Yeah, this is all in one direction.
Yeah.
Right, for the most part. Which is exactly what you want to see. Man, where was I an hour ago?
I know. I was showering, getting ready to prepare for slow markets, and my stupid computer decided to run an update right before I tried to get you on here. But yeah, during that time we started the rally, and do we fade this rally or do we wait for a pullback?
I'm waiting for a pullback. What I have marked out here, this zone is today's range, right? So Wednesday's trading sessions range. The high is right up here at 699. We can see 50% of it held as a support. I don't want to fade this. I'm going to look for an opportunity to buy it if it presents itself, and if it doesn't tonight, that's okay. I'll look for another trade tomorrow. But it also feels kind of hard to buy it right here at these highs
Yeah.
for the day.
It's about like risk reward, right? Where's your risk gonna be if you buy it right
Right.
here?
100 points lower.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but that's why we use those higher time frames. That's why I like using those higher time frames. That's for sure. Like we looked at the hourly chart and we seen this high at around these 690s, and then we're talking about this gap that that could be a possibility. So we have a good idea of where this market can go. Maybe some targets, maybe some areas for resistance. The next question is, where could the opportunities be? Do we just wait for a pullback? Where could this pullback be on this 1 hour chart where usually support becomes resistance and vice versa? Maybe we could get a pullback to these 620s. Maybe 620s, lower 600s. We did start to break into this consolidation. This was consolidation on the 29th. You see where it consolidated for a while. And so we did just break into this consolidation. So maybe there's some type of argument to be made somewhere near the low of this consolidation or above the top of this resistance. I mean, maybe can we do something like this? Like, hey, if the market gets somewhere in this zone, pulling back into this zone could be buying opportunities. But that's a pretty decent sized zone. It's a 40-point zone.
Right.
It's just where, if this pullback, where does it pull back? And is it even going to pull back? Is the next question.
That's the real question. Let's see. Let's see what I got here as far as where could we look for a potential pullback. I'm looking at the first 30-minute open. Okay, so the market went, the way I'm reading this, we have this 30-minute open. That VWAP is still in the range, which I've seen give us a pretty nice pullback. Now, does that mean we get it? It doesn't, but a pullback to this VWAP, which right now is at 573s, there's potential for that, but that's a 100-point move to the downside. Does that mean I want to just sell it right here? Probably not. But if I'm looking for a pullback, it's somewhere to that VWAP, this red line here. Ideally, by the time we get the pullback, this VWAP caught up to price and it's leaving this range, and then I would take a long from there somewhere around that 620s, 610 area you were talking about.
Right. 620. It's so okay. Now here's the next question. I'm watching this on the 5-minute chart, Coach Jay. This Nasdaq.
Yeah.
An old previous me when I first started to trade, I would see this and I would say, this market's overextended. I want to sell this. Would you do that? Why would I don't know. Is this valid? Waiting for like maybe a 3-bar reversal, maybe selling this because it's overextended. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so I don't disagree with that. You want to be careful of that thought, right? Where we were talking to some traders about that the other day, where it's just like, oh, well, this market's up too high, I have to short it. It's like, well, if it wants to keep going, it's going to keep going. But yeah, I think if you see a reversal pattern, like you said, if you see a 3-bar reversal, then yeah, because if I want to buy this, I'm looking for a pullback of at least 50 points, right? So that means that there is potential for a short if I want to take that trade, but I think there has to be a reversal pattern instead of just saying, oh, it's up too high, because we don't know when that reversal is going to happen, right? The market could do it here, it could do it 30 points up, and can you accept that risk? Because if you go short here, where's your risk? It has to go above 700.
Right, especially after earnings, right? After FOMC, after earnings, do you really want to fade something like this, especially when we have the gap that I'm talking about from Sunday? Like, there's a lot in play. Sure, I mean, maybe there is a trade to take a short scalp, but it would be see money, take money. And we're starting to see some resistance come in. If I was to short this, I mean, my take profit would be 45s, like 10 points, because this area was nice in support from before, right? So maybe we could get a pullback down here to these 40s for maybe some buying opportunities. It looks like we are. I mean, speak it into existence. Why not? Here we are.
Right. There's the 3-bar reversal on the 3-minute at least. So now at least that gives you an opportunity to limit your risk, right? Where, hey, make a new high and I don't want to be in it anymore.
Right. I mean, maybe we just consolidate around here. Like this is the main thing I'm watching, this consolidation from January 28th, 29th. I mean, it's early overnight session. it seems like so long. So much has happened the past 24 hours with FOMC and earnings. But yeah, this could definitely be something we watch. Maybe we consolidate around here for a little bit. You can see we rallied up, consolidated, sold off. And so now we've rallied up. Do we consolidate and then sell off? Continuation? Not sure. But it probably see some chop from going forward. Anyway, that's the Nasdaq for you, everybody. I'm going to jump over to the Nikkei real fast, and then I'll pass it on to you for crude oil and gold. So this is a consistent pattern on the Nikkei on the 5-minute. I mean, if we want to talk about a pattern or a channel, like that is a definition of a channel. Buy the dip, sell the rip on this channel. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's take a look at the hourly. Zoom out. I mean, maybe more of the same, right? On a bigger channel, a channel inside of a channel that I was referring to. Like there's one channel, and then on the bigger picture, this channel's holding. This channel's holding. So, you know, it looks like we're starting to break out. Can we see a continuation up to these 39,600s or maybe even a little bit higher? I'm not sure, but this Nikkei Japanese market is looking pretty bullish to me. I don't see a reason why I would want to sell this. And let me look at the 5-minute again. Did earnings really do anything? No. Let's see. Did FOMC do anything to it either? Not really, huh? It's just kind of doing its own thing. But bullish, looking bullish. And I think that's all I have for right now on the Nikkei. Yeah, it's just pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to take a look at crude and gold, and I know someone in the chat is really wanting us to take a look at silver.
Look at silver.
So maybe a little bit later. And then as we do this, everybody, if you want to go ahead and submit your trader statistics in the Discord, I know, let's see if I could get that link. Let's see if I could find that link real fast. So any trader who wants us to review your statistics in Topstep X, if you are able to, let me just go find this. If you are able to click on the left-hand side of your stats, it says share. Let me see if I could find a shareable link here. Well, maybe. There you go, copy link. So if you want to share your statistics in that channel and then put some type of description in there, so that way when we are reviewing your statistics, we will know what we're looking at. So go ahead and take it away, Coach Jay. I'll look for some that we can review later.
All right, looking at crude, let's go out to a daily chart real quick on crude. We have been in a downtrend over the last 15 days, if we want to call it that. Getting down to some higher time frame levels of potential support here, this $72 level, getting closer to that $70 and this 200 moving average on the daily. If we go out to a 30-minute chart, crude has been trading this pattern for the last 8 days. And Coach Paul and I called it out. I said I was going to trade it, and then I woke up in the morning and forgot that I said that. But every time we see this, I'm on a 30-minute chart now, and every time we get above this purple line, which is the 50 moving average on the 30-minute, crude sells off. And it has continued to do it over the past 10 days or so. I have made no money from this pattern. But if I'm trading crude, I want to sell it. And maybe not selling it in the hole because it does have the potential to kind of pull up. But a pull up to maybe 73.40, 73.50, I would be looking to short crude. Right now, for what we have so far with this Globex session, here's the first 30-minute opening range. We've already left that range price-wise and volume-wise. Volume is below that range as well. So we may not get a pull-up, right? We can see this kind of perfect test of the low of this range here and that red line leaving the range. That's telling me that there are some real sellers in here. And let's see if they get some continuation. A lot of the move in crude has been happening in the London session. So 3 a.m. my time, and it's probably why I haven't been trading it a lot. But it's been moving. It's been moving where we complained about crude oil for about 3 months staying at the same prices. And now it's giving us a pretty nice trend to the downside for any crude traders out there.
Yeah. If you guys joining me last night, this is the benefit of joining slow markets. That was a trade I was watching, Coach Jay. Yeah. I had someone just send me this link right now. Look at this. This is the link they sent me last night. They took this trade, which is great. That actually reminds me, I need to do our risk disclosure. This is not a signals class. This is purely for education. And we never recommend trades. We never want you guys to follow them. It's purely for education. But they sent me this link. That was the trade setup. This was the trade setup. Short getting short at what it looks like 73.75, looking for a lower run, and they took this trade. I didn't. They took it.
Beautiful trade.
I mean, after I closed off the stream, I mean, it just kind of just sold off, right? So it's a beautiful thing. I really enjoy having you with us. There is plenty of opportunity overnight. Overnight's been trading a lot better, as you mentioned at the very beginning of class. D trades the London session. We have traders from around the world, and it's a very nice thing to see some of these trades work out, and a lot of traders here at TopStep doing really well in the overnight sessions.
Dakota, let me ask you something, because I feel like that happens a lot with how much we review the markets and look over them and the time that we're spending on the charts. Do you, or have you ever, or do you still have a response to trades that you've called out but you haven't taken? And we got a VIP in the chat, Mr. Andre McHugh. I think we need to send him a link so he can join us. What's going on, Andre?
Yeah, we need to. How are we going to get Andre in here? I had him join me one time. Yeah. I don't think he's joined me ever since. I'm supposed to have Andre on for tonight. Hoag, MP. I mean, I need to get some of these traders and some of the team on here. One of these 100%. Days. One of these days. We can have, I'm not
fast markets at night.
Road. Yeah, charts after dark.
There we go. But yeah, do you have an emotional response at all to calling out a great setup, seeing it play out, and then not getting in it?
No, Coach Jay. It's became too often, especially since I've started doing this, especially since I started doing the coaching and doing everything that we do here at TopStep. It's almost became like second nature. We'll review these markets. There's some really good setups. It might not qualify for what I want to trade, but then for somebody else, it might qualify for them, right? And it's getting another perspective. It's talking about the markets. We have new traders joining us. I get this question all the time, like, hey, what's a 3-bar reversal? What's some of these very basic technical patterns? And this has been meant to help everybody. What we're doing here, you, Coach Jay, what you're doing, what we're trying to do here all the time is how can we help traders? And I'm really good by just like a teacher doing on the whiteboard, like here's a math problem, here's how you solve the math problem. This is how I view it. And so I kind of do the same thing is, here's how I'm seeing these markets. It's my view, the way I see them. And just like last night, it was just like, this is my view. This could be a decent short setup. We've been selling off, like you said. We're in a nice downtrend. We had a nice rally. There could be a short opportunity. Now, that's why we do the risk disclosure, and it gives traders who are either new or anywhere in their level and in their trading journey to just hey, this is interesting. Do I like this? Sure. Does it fit my strategy? Maybe this or this. They could adjust it. They could follow their own process and hopefully become a better trader through that.
100%. Yeah, I think I've stopped having a reaction to it at this point too. So it's going to happen with the amount of markets that we look at and trades we call out. There are going to be trades that we miss, and traders, that's going to happen to you as well. But really, it's about your response after the fact, right? Does missing a trade force you into something that is lower probability, that you don't really trust, but you feel like you need to put something on? And for King D, my Starbucks order, white chocolate mocha with an extra shot, hot, no whipped cream. You can go back and watch that now. It's a great drink.
White chocolate mocha.
White chocolate mocha with an extra shot.
I'm checking my DoorDash net right now, Coach Jay, because I think that's mine. I think that's mine.
Oh yeah.
DoorDash saves it, and I just reorder it. I've stopped drinking caffeine, but. That is...
It's a great drink, man. Andre said so extra. Yeah, it is extra. The first time I ordered it, I'm like, what am I doing here? But then I drank it, and I've been hooked ever since.
Oh, it'll take me some time. I haven't ordered it for a while, so I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
through and see.
All right. While you do that, I'm gonna pull up silver for our silver surfer in the chat, Mr. Birdman. Let's look at silver here. Silver is. Let's go out to a daily chart real quick. In a consolidation from what I'm seeing over the past couple of days, looks like it has the potential to break out. We did see silver trade higher in 2024, but for right now, it's in a consolidation and kind of at the highs of that consolidation on a higher time frame. So we're going to need to see some new buyers step in and continue to push it higher. So far for today's session, it's in a consolidation. This morning's trade in silver was really nice. We were up about 2%. I know Coach Hoop called it out while we were on fast markets. I was struggling with a ES trade that wasn't really going anywhere while silver was rallying. But it's presenting good opportunities. I will say, because we are at a higher time frame resistance, we might see some, potential downside back into the range, kind of what we've been seeing here.
Silver, it's correlates pretty well with gold, right?
I think so, but the way gold rallied all last year, silver did break out of a higher time frame resistance that it was in. It was like a 5-year resistance that silver couldn't get over a specific price. It finally got over that. I think it was like $28 or something like that, and it's over it now, and it's consistently over it, but it doesn't trend the same way as gold.
Okay,
not for a long period of time.
That makes sense. I mean, if gold jumps 10%, you'd kind of expect silver to be green that same day too.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That makes sense. How about gold? I have gold chart pulled up. This is an hourly, and I mean the theme of gold. I know you trade gold, Coach Jay. It's been by the dip, and it's very similar to what I was referring to the Nasdaq, right, where it's making higher lows, right, higher low, higher low, higher low, and so the next expected move would be, I mean, a higher high, right, because we continue to make higher highs as well. So if this is a higher low, could expect a higher high. I mean, simple, straightforward. We are getting close to all-time highs. You can see that this was the all-time high with a beautiful head and shoulders type pattern right here in gold to make that all-time high around those 2840s. And so we touched this level once up here at these 2816s, and we've pulled back hard from that. And now we're right back into this kind of the shoulder area from gold back in October, November. And so I'll be curious to see if we can continue to make that run up to the top of those shoulders around 28, the lower 2800s, 28 and then eventually new all-time highs. Thoughts?
What is the all-time high?
I believe
50 half on this contract.
Yeah, it's like 2850.
Interesting. I didn't realize how close we were to 2800 after today.
We touched it today.
Yep. Yeah, I did not realize how close we were. Yeah, gold is a buy. It hasn't been the most convincing buy, and like you said, it's buy the dip where we're trending up, but it's not happening fat, right? Like look at this price action in gold today. It moved up and it closed higher than it opened, but it wasn't convincing, right? Where you still kind of needed to see profit take profit because it was a lot of overlap. But on a higher time frame, it is moving to the upside, and maybe when we get above this 2800 level, we'll see a little bit more convincing price action that we could day trade. But if you're swing trading gold, I mean, hold it. That is not financial advice. Manage your risk.
I know. Do you do any swing trading, Coach Jay?
I do. I told you, man. One of my best trades this year has been buying CVS at $45. CVS, the stock, buying it at $45. It was under some heavy sell pressure after, when Trump was getting voted in as president. This was November. Mentioning kind of taking out the middleman in medicine, right, where a lot of the pharmacies may be overcharging for medicine, and CVS took a big hit off of that. But it came down to some higher time frame lows, and bought it at $45. It's up about $11 from there. And that's a very comfortable trade, where it's just moving to the upside. I'm thinking about a target to potentially get out. But yeah, I'll swing trade things that, present opportunities to me for sure.
Yeah. You know what one of my better performing stocks has been?
What's that?
Build-A-Bear. Build-A-Bear.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's just one of those you don't really think about, and Build-A-Bear is always there for me when I need. Yeah, it's not a bear market, that's for sure.
No pun intended. What is the ticker for Build-A-Bear?
BB. Let's see. Let me pull it up.
BBW. I got it.
Yeah, BB something.
Oh wow, look at it. 2020, it was $2.
Yeah, you could show it. Show it.
I don't know if I'm sharing that screen, but here, let me see. Give me one second. I'm just sharing the tab with you, so give me 1 second. I'll share it.
Let's see. I don't want to show my portfolio, but
here we go.
Yeah,
there you go. Build-A-Bear stock.
Build-A-Bear.
Look at this.
Yeah. I actually got I got in at $21.
What a trade, man. What a trade.
Yeah,
who knew? Build-A-Bear.
Pure technicals too. I'm like, yeah, I
sometimes that's all it is.
BBW.
Sometimes that's all it.
Build-A-Bear. I don't know.
Build-A-Bear workshop.
Build-A-Bear workshop.
Let's go, chat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the random stuff. The random stuff. Markets are always moving. I mean, we're traders, right? Traders at heart. We talk about futures. Yep. There's lots you can do in futures. Even currency, right? There's currency futures. Oh wow, CVS is down 22%. That's your trade.
So this right around here, this kind of bottoming pattern. I was just like, CVS is not going anywhere. My neighborhood CVS is still open. I'm gonna buy this, and it went up.
There you go. That brings me to this question. We can have some good conversation here. We'll continue to talk about these markets. We have a full hour, Coach Jay. We talk about these markets. Let's answer questions and enjoy some good conversation. So, Robinhood, futures on Robinhood. What is your thoughts on that, Coach Jay?
I think it's great. Robinhood is kind of known for being that place where it, for retail traders, it's easy to get into the markets. It's kind of low barrier to entry. I think it's great. I think at the same time, like anything else, there's risk. So hopefully anybody who's putting their money over there to trade it understands the risks of it. But it's going to bring some volume to the futures markets potentially, and maybe some volume away from some of the zero DTE traders will move over to trading futures.
Yeah, and so maybe I'm spending a little bit too much time on social media. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of those Twitter fingers too, Coach Jay. But I started to see there's been some talk about futures. Right there's this one post. I'm gonna read a little bit about it. It's I have never traded futures before, so my first time will be on Robinhood, and that is very interesting to me. I like to see it. I think that kind of proves that there's a whole bunch of brand new traders out there who are learning what are futures, right? And these, I don't want to say like these steps, right? These steps for traders coming into this market, maybe they don't know what the futures are. And we're still getting a little bit of buffering, but just refresh your YouTube if you get buffering. Still have not figured that out yet. But yeah, I think that's great. It makes me feel all the more confident in that we got our Series 3 and, we're able to just like, hey, it's not just for us. It's also just for the traders that join us on TopstepTV and in our classes to be, not only do we kind of do this a little bit and can trade, but by the way, we know what futures are, right? This isn't just a market that goes up and down and you buy low, sell high, and make money, lose money, and all that fun stuff. It's like, this is futures. This is what futures is about. And I continue to see more and more conversation for traders who've never traded futures before, and they're coming from stocks, they're coming from options, they're coming from zero DTEs and the meme stocks or what meme coins and stuff, and they're discovering futures and be able to instill and explain and hopefully teach. And I'm really enjoying what we're doing.
And so I see some comments in the chat. People have opinions about Robinhood. Would I suggest somebody trade on Robinhood if they're going to trade futures? Probably not. But if that's someone's entry into the game, then fine. Depending on what your needs are as a trader, they're going to be a little bit different. What I'm really interested in is margin requirements for trades, and we see somebody like AMP, right, for example, where you could trade one lot minis on AMP in the Nasdaq with $1,000 balance in your account. Or if you apply for a day trading margin, you could trade it with $300 margin requirement. I wonder what Robinhood is going to do for that, because they were known as
they're high. They're pretty high. I took a look at it briefly. I don't know the exact number
for day trade margins. Day trade margins are high.
I don't know if it was day trade or overnight. It was pretty high. I haven't. I don't have Robinhood. I'm not. This isn't a conversation of how good Robinhood or how bad or opinion on anybody else. It's more of the idea that bringing new traders into this industry that's continuing to grow more and more and more. I'm always for the idea that a rising tide raises all ships, right? And this is good because those traders, they in like those accounts, it's live markets, right? Learning what margin is. Maybe they have a decent idea, but these are live markets. This isn't like this is a bunch of traders trying to learn on how to trade. It's a lot of people with money, a little learning this, that, and all that. That's trading. It's not a simulated environment trying to learn and then gain cash to trade. It's real trading, it's real money, and it's it's an actual thing, right? It's tangible, and these are the traders that are continuing to come in and learn. And I absolutely love to see it. I want to see a safe environment first. I love simulated.
As safe as safe can be.
Yes. And the last thing I want to see is traders to come in, throw some money at the futures market, and then end up losing it. So simulation definitely has its place. It's a safe environment to learn how to trade, and love seeing it.
Definitely. Interesting. I'm just looking at the futures they have available there, and we'll get back to the markets in a second, but they have Bitcoin futures and then Bitcoin Friday futures that you can trade. I don't know what that is, but
Friday futures.
Interesting.
Oh man. Bitcoin Friday futures.
They got a bunch of different products over there, which is good though.
Yeah. My understanding is there's no pattern day trading in futures.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's very attractive too for a lot of traders.
Right. As long as you meet that margin requirement, you can trade, which is nice, right? You don't need 25 grand to trade stocks or whatever it is.
You know what? It didn't used to be that way for options. I can't remember. And now it is. There's a pattern day trading requirements on options. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows better than I do. But it didn't used to be like that, and I think it is now. But not for futures. Who knows? They might change that too one day. Micro ES options are cheap and very liquid. What is the margin requirement for futures? The margin requirement for futures depends on your broker. It does. I like a few different brokers, and each one has their own different margin requirements. But if you're gonna do a day trading with stocks or options, you have to have like 25K in your account.
All right, scanning these markets, seeing if anything is moving. Platinum is moving to the upside right now. And for our silver traders, silver's continuing to move up as well. That short in the Nasdaq is starting to look a little more attractive, Dakota, because I know where I can set my risk now. If I was going to take it, it would go right above those highs.
Above 670?
Yeah. Yep.
Take it, man.
I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it because
Okay,
there's no
okay.
setup here. But if I was going to take a short, right, I'll put
Okay.
it on in a practice account because we are kind of holding under this VWAP from the high, right? If I was to take this trade, risk would go right above that high. And this is just a practice account. And target would be kind of where we were looking to get long. But I'm not taking that because I don't see a setup
Doing the
that's good
practice,
enough to
man.
take there. Oh, yeah.
Practice.
Do it in a practice account.
Future margins are in real. Overnight is, all that fun stuff. These are good conversations. We haven't had good conversations like this for a while. I hope I enjoy conversations like this. Talking real trading is kind of nice for a change. Talking about margins, talking about this kind of stuff is it's something I talk about off camera with people and traders that are not in the prop firm world.
Right.
And it feels nice to talk about it. Like there's a lot in terms of margin and talking about money market interest rates, all that fun stuff. And maybe there's a day where we could talk more and more about that kind of stuff.
I think that's a good Andre conversation, to be honest.
Yeah. Bringing
I
in
really
Andre
do.
and Hoag and the rest of the team. That would be some good conversation there.
Here's a good question from Robert Husak. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? I think the Chiefs are probably going to win it, but I want the Eagles to.
I want the Eagles too. I don't really care who wins it. I know the refs are on the side of the Chiefs. I know Trader's gonna hate me for saying that, but Eagles were Kobe Bryant's team, and I got to root for the Eagles.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so no pattern day trading in the cash account for options. Okay.
I think that is true.
Okay.
As long as you settle your account to cash at the end of the day, then there's no PDT. But if it's a margin account, then there is.
I'm all margin.
Makes sense.
That's everything I have is margin.
Full margin.
Full margin, everything. But it's all covered.
Right.
So not too bad.
Of course. There were some other questions in here. Can you explain how slippage works in an XFA? So it's not necessarily in an XFA, it's just kind of slippage in general. When you have an order out there in the market, there's not a guarantee that you get filled at that price, especially if you're using a market order, right? Most of our stops are going to be stop market. So it's going to trigger at whatever price you set that order at, but then it's going to fill at whatever the market has.
Been having buffering issues during at the buzzer too, Coach Jay.
Not that I've seen. I think we did have a little bit of an audio issue with Coach Paul's audio doubling, but I haven't seen buffering.
Interesting.
Haven't seen buffering.
I don't know what it is, man. It's definitely not my inner. It has to be something like with OBS and doing. I do put it out in 4K in 1440p HD for everybody. I'll have to go through and double check everything one more time. Maybe work with the tech team to see what's going on. But every once in a while, we get that buffering, and it's not just this one-time thing. It's been consistent. So if you continue to see buffering, just refresh, and let me know.
Yep, and it's crazy because you're coming in very clear to me right now. So it's something on the out, right? Sending it out to YouTube. Something's happening there.
Yeah, it's the market makers. Coach Hoop saying long Bitcoin. Oh, man, I tell you what, if there was anything bullish, it's going to be crypto right now, just because I
Pal's comments
to Pal and his comments. He didn't say anything negative, right? He was just like, yeah, we're not going to be getting in the way of anything when it comes to crypto, basically.
Right. Yeah, he pretty much said working with the banks that are, helping customers get into crypto and making sure they're doing it the safe way. And Bitcoin rallied as soon as he said that.
Bitcoin's at 104. Oh, what do we think? What do we think with Bitcoin? If we wait a week, will we be back at 100,000? I mean,
it has been consolidating over the past kind of 2 weeks or so between 100,000 and 110s on the futures. and we're right in the middle of that range right now.
Mm.
But I like how we're kind of holding on the daily, this 20 moving average. We're moving up. It's bullish, right? I don't want to short it. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I don't want to short it, and I also don't want to buy it. To be honest, I don't. I can't handle these big swings on Bitcoin. Like, I'm all for volatility, but this is just not for me. And just randomly 10% sell off,
Yeah.
9% sell off randomly. Maybe there might be random for me or not random for someone else. It's just the price actions that I have noticed in Bitcoin. I've watched it for a little bit. I even tried trading it in a practice account, but it's just not for me.
So I think, and you said trading, there definitely is a difference, right? Do I want to be like a long-term buyer in Bitcoin at these prices? Probably not, but it's a great trading market right now. Where even in these ranges, some pretty good ranges to trade. I think some of the technical setups that you look for, if you, because I get what you're saying, right? Like, do I want to really be holding Bitcoin if it can drop 20%, like it's been shown to do? But I think that's the advantage that we have as being day traders, right? Where I could just take advantage of some intraday price action, make a couple bucks on it, and not have to hold on to it, especially while it's figuring out what the next move is going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to look at something on my end, Coach Jay. If you want to look at any other markets, I'm going to check and see how my system's running, because I've seen a few buffering issues on my end. I
Okay.
just want to double check a few things.
All right. Let's go to crude oil. Okay, crude oil selling off a little bit here. Seeing some volume come into crude to the short side.
Let's see.
Oh man, nice rejection here. Anyone in this crude short?
Yeah, that's been the story of the past week, huh? Just short. Drill, baby, drill.
Short it. Just short it. What else are you guys looking at in the chat? Let us know. I'm probably not going to take any trades tonight. Today's a long day for me. Fast markets, then doing at the buzzer. Then we did another class with some Topstep traders. I got an invite, and now here. So happy to hang out and talk about markets. But for me, placing trades, I probably won't place any. But let us know what you're looking at in the chat. If anyone's in any trades or if you have any questions. I saw a question about anchored VWAP and the difference between anchored VWAP and the full session and why I use anchored. So full session VWAP is just going to take into account the entire day. I'm going to go over to the Nasdaq actually for this. So full session is going to take over the entire day, and it'll be this yellow line you see, orange line you see on my charts here. So I use both of them, but the reason I use the anchor is because I want to know from a specific point in time what has the market said since then, and I look at VWAP as the market. So the trade I took as a long in the Nasdaq today was after Trump's comments on NVIDIA. We have this high volume here, and you guys have probably seen me do this, but this is the highest volume we had on the day, higher than the open and higher than the FOMC rate decision. So when I look at this, I'm saying this means something, right? Somebody traded some volume here for a reason. So now I attach a VWAP to that to see how the market responds since then. The long I took was at 50% of this candle because VWAP was acting as a support. And then going from there, where did I take it off? The full session VWAP up here. So with the anchors, it allows me to see from a specific point in time how the market is responding to either an event or anything like that. But really good question there. All right. Any other questions you guys have, let me know.
I don't have anything on my end. In about 8 minutes, we could take a look at some trader statistics.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. VWAP settings for me are open, high, low, close divided by 4.
I'm going to start looking through some of the trader stats and see if we could see any good ones, and then we could take a look at them as well.
World Star Trade says I'm stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi. It's not what's happening. They're stealing my Wi-Fi. How do you decide stops? So stops for me are usually, if it depends on the trade. Stops for me, if it's a momentum trade, is going to go right below where the momentum came in. So this long that I took at 445 here in the Nasdaq, my stop was right under this candle right here, 427. And why there? Because I'm seeing some momentum coming in here, and it's a momentum trade. So if momentum dies, then I don't want to be in the trade anymore. We can see also that VWAP anchor using this candle. This candle tested it, use it as a support. So if we get back below this, I don't want to be in. But that's for that type of trade. If it's the other trade that I took in the S&Ps this morning, which was a short, this stop was based on, again, volume analysis. I don't know if you guys were watching this. Anybody watching this trade this morning? This stop placement, and again, I took the trade off for $3.85. So I'm not going to, act like I'm this great trader for this. But this stop placement was exactly where it needed to be. I framed out this candle, which was 7:06 Eastern, 7:06 Central Time, because it just looked like some significant price action, and 50% of that candle was where the stop went. This stop was based on higher time frame analysis. Where did the market change structure? And I'm going here. Some of you might call this a fair value gap or whatever it is, but there was some volume that traded here. My stop needed to go 50% above that, but it depends on the trade type.
Interesting. Is the audio still okay, everybody? I want to make sure the audio is fine, because to me, it sounds good. You sound good, Coach Jay. Audio's trash.
Yeah, it seems different. Some people get exactly what I'm saying, and then some people saying audio trash, so I don't really know. Some people saying it's fine. Close YouTube. If the audio is trash, close YouTube and come back.
Yeah, someone says refresh and it's fixed. Refresh. Good now. Good now. Audio's clear. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to continue to... I'm going to probably dedicate... I'm not on Topstep TV tomorrow, so I'm going to probably dedicate a good few hours on seeing if I could do anything on my end for this buffering. But it looks to me that we're all good there. We're all good. Just refresh.
Yeah. And if the audio is bad, they probably can't hear us saying that. So I'm going to type in all caps in the chat. If audio is bad, refresh and come back. All right. All right, where are we going from here, Dakota? I see some more questions in the chat that I could answer, but if you want to go,
I got some stats up. I got a nice trader stats up. Here's mine. Let's take a look at this. Here's my screen. Let me make sure we could get all the stats right there, bright and beautiful. So here we go. I'm gonna go through. I'll read you what this trader has said. If I could find it. Let's go through. Now remember, we're going to review some trader statistics. If you missed it, you can share your statistics right in that link in the Topstep Discord under my channel, or Coach Jay's. It doesn't really matter. I'm looking at the one in my channel. But yeah, so this trader says, I have been having trouble. I can pass a combine so easily in 2 or 3 days, but when it comes to an XFA, I can't seem to do well. I have taken a payout, a $10,000 payout before, but I haven't taken one since, and that was in November. I finally am making it work, and hopefully can make this XFA to a live. So the first thing I have to say from viewing this is, you only have 3 trading days. I can almost say I will never judge a trader's statistics on 3 days. I at least would like to see probably a month, maybe 2 weeks worth of trading statistics in order to feel confident on giving good feedback, right? And it should be the same for you as a trader. Don't judge your own trading strategy based off of a couple days, a week, because, like today, you can't really judge your trading strategy off of today because today we had FOMC and then earnings after the bell. Same with like Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's different trading conditions. And so it's hard to do that on this. But the best thing I am seeing right now is if you can pass a combine in 1 to 2 days and then you're struggling in XFAs, most likely it's a sizing issue. I would say it's definitely trading too big of size, which it'll be great when it works. Like you said, you're taking a $10,000 payout, which is not an easy thing to do. That's amazing.
It's a good amount of money.
But think of it as a casino, okay? A casino knows that every once in a while, someone's going to hit a big jackpot, right? And what if one day, for one moment, someone hits $1 million jackpot and the casino loses money? Well, the casino knows that over time, the longer like the casino gives people to come into their casino and gamble, the statistics will go on their side, right? And we need to think of it the same as trading. Is the longer we trade consistently, right, with the statistics in our favor, the more profitable you should be, right? You want the statistics to work in your favor and not based off just a few days. So I would strongly recommend sizing down and focusing on your process. And once you size down and focus on your process, you will be able to gain that confidence, and you should never have to like wonder or worry that you can't do the same thing in a combine as an XFA and then a live. Thoughts on that, Coach Jay?
No, I definitely agree with you. The more data, the better. For what I would be, looking for from this trader is what does a losing day look like, right? And you said you took in a $10,000 payout, which is amazing. But on this account, you have 3 days, which are all winning days. But we've seen it before where traders can make a ton of money and then don't plan what those losing days look like and give back a ton of profits, right? So I don't want you to lose, but I kind of do want you to lose, right? So we can see how you plan for those losses, and then that'll tell us whether or not this is sustainable, what you're doing here. So don't go take a loss on purpose, but if a trading day doesn't go in your favor, measure exactly how much you're going to give back to the markets on that day right now, right? Do it now. Decide, hey, if shit hits the fan, I'm going to lose $600 or whatever that number is for you, and don't lose more than that, because that shows that you have a plan for the eventual, downswings that we're all going to have, right? Dakota, you have a loss limit that you have with your account, and everything could go wrong. You're not going to lose more than that. So you can come back and trade the next day.
Yeah. Make sure I'm sounding right, okay? I've been knocked around in the head today. So let me maybe rephrase it. But essentially what I'm trying to say is you can't really judge based off of a few days, right?
Right.
You need more statistics. You need to let your statistics play out over a longer period of time. The same way a casino makes money over a period of time but could lose money off of like, oh, we lost money the last 1 hour because everyone was hitting jackpots, right? But it knows in the long run,
makes a ton of sense to me.
Statistics will play out. And it's having that confidence in that process that it doesn't matter whether you're in a combine, XFA, or live account. You can follow that same process and be successful. And what I'm saying is sizing down is because you're trading, 3, 2, 1
every
minis,
trade,
right? And if you could pass it in 2 days, I can passing in 2 days. I mean, it's difficult to gain confidence in 1 or 2 days, right? You're passing in 2 days. What does your losing days look like? Are you giving yourself enough room to be wrong and to go on a losing streak? Because you're like, if you're struggling blowing accounts, that's your problem, right? You're blowing accounts in how long, right? Are you blowing an account in 2 to 3 days? No, you should at least be a month minimum. You shouldn't be blowing accounts in just a few days. That would be a sizing issue, because you can have a bad week. You can have a bad 2 weeks. The most value that traders typically get is when they could keep a combine or an XFA open for 2-3 months, and then
right?
as they start to gain the confidence in their process, then they could increase their position size.
100%. Great start though. Great start to the account.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything wrong with the trading, right? I mean, it's pretty dang good. 3 days, 4 trades, $1,700, 14 trades, and then 1 trade tonight so far. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it's pretty good trading overall. It's just hard to judge based off of a few days, because I look at the trade count and I look at the win rate. That there's not really any pattern. It's pretty consistent overall. It's pretty uniform. Holding some trades for less than a minute, some trade for an hour. The win percentage, it's kind of mixed, right?
And we got the trader in the chat. He says, that's my account. My biggest problem was letting go of losing trades. Exactly, right? It's all good when things are, what did Michael Jordan say? Everyone wants to talk when they're winning, but no one wants to talk so much when they're losing. Exactly that, right? We are all going to lose trades. How do we respond to it, right? If you throw a tantrum and then throw on, and I'm saying this as somebody who has done this. A losing trade hits my ego, and then I throw on way more size than I should, and it ends up being a bigger loss. Or do you just take it? Like Dakota said, when we started the show, you took a punch, found yourself on the canvas, but then you got back up, right? And that's what we have to do.
Man. I was like, all right, I'm going home. I'm going to shower and just hold my class. Back to trading. I'm going to walk out of the gym with a bunch of high school kids making fun of me. Man.
But take your punches and keep it going.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. This is an interesting one. This is a combine, not an XFA. Close to passing my combine. Do I trade less days and wait, or to trade most days? So looks like this trader's been in the combine. I like to see that it's a 50K combine, but you've been in here for, looks like about 2 weeks, right? Started this on the 21st of this month. Great profit factor, good risk reward, win percentage, nice. Everything's looking good so far. Obviously, I could say this with about almost every single account. We want more sample, like bigger sample size on any account. I do like this trader's holding it for about 30 minutes, which is good. There's a decent pattern here. I like to see this, where the longer you hold a trade, the more profitable it is.
Yep.
All winning days. What does it look like if you lose, right? I don't know. Do you know? It looks like being selective on your trades. But the question is, do I trade less days and wait, or try to trade most days? How would you answer that, Coach Jay? Mike was.
If a setup, regardless of the day, if a setup presents itself to you and you're looking at the markets, then take the trade, right? If you come to the markets and there is no setup, don't feel obligated to have to be in the markets just because you're there, right? We heard Dakota say he took 1 trade today. You don't normally take just 1 trade in the day. I took 2 trades. I don't normally take just 2 trades, but those were the 2 setups that presented themselves. So be okay not taking a trade. I was talking to a trader in Discord this morning that said, they haven't taken a trade in 3 days after looking at the markets. And, there's a question here. Is your criteria so restrictive that, you're not taking anything? We're day trading here, so you don't want to be that, selective. But if there isn't anything clean, don't take it. But if there is, take your setups and go from there. I don't look at it on, specific days. There are some days where I sit down and I don't feel like trading at all, and I just won't.
Yeah. Trading's optional. It's always optional. I like this, where you just trade 1 day, micro. You made $28. You just call it a day. When you get so close, don't force anything.
Yep.
Bad stuff happens when you try and force it. I've had too much experience doing that same thing, even here at Topstep, where I'm on TopstepTV, and you get that feeling of I got to trade in front of everybody. This is tradertainment. Everyone's watching. We have thousands of traders watching, and so I'm just going to place a trade, and it doesn't end up well.
Nope. does not.
All right. Moving on. I'm just going to go down the line, Coach Jay. Just moving on to the next.
That works.
Yep. Finally got my payout and got overconfident afterwards. Looking to build it back up for a second payout. How can I manage overconfidence and fear while still sticking to my plan? Oh, man. Every trader struggles with this.
Yep.
I see it on social media too about overconfidence and then the following day it's a blow up, right? So I'm guessing that this is a payout, right? That's about $1,500. That's a good payout. I like to see that. 3-to-1 risk reward. That's pretty big. Trading really close to the way I like to trade as well. Lower win percentage.
This almost looks like a Dakota trade report, right? 36% win rate, 3-to-1 risk reward.
Yeah, this is a great. Yeah, this is a good looking trading stats. One of my favorites. Holding trades for 16 minutes. Total lots of trades 408. Must be trading micros. I like that. I do like this one. It looks like you're holding trades for a while. And you're cutting your losses short. Worst losing day, 700. You're trying to cut it off around 500, which is good. You've taken a payout already, which is pretty impressive. You've been in this account for just over 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. You've traded one trade tonight. And what is that? Long the Nasdaq, 10 micros. Long Nasdaq, 627. Oh, you caught that breakout, huh?
It's a nice trade.
Yeah, he bought this, and they bought this. Where'd they close it out? I'm curious now. 57.
30 points.
Nice trade.
30 points. It's a nice 10 minutes of work right there.
Yeah. That is a good one. I'm seeing that already. I like seeing that. Okay, my first thought. Worst losing day, and that happened to be the majority of trades, right? 25 trades on a losing day, and they were up, right? So you were up $650, and it looks like you just kept trading and trading, went back to break even, made another $500, and then just continued to overtrade. So maybe there is a hint of overtrading on this day.
Yep. Yeah. Just be conscious of that, where it's okay to continue trading, if you see another setup after you make some money, but be conscious of it turning into a losing day. Because a lot of times what we see just reviewing these reports is that losing day. And we hear it all the time from the risk management team, right? We have a trader, I think today, sometime this week, they talked about a trader who was up 11 grand and then ended up hitting the daily loss limit. Those losses are never small. I would say probably 2% of losses are small that end up like that, where you were up on the day a significant amount, continue to trade, and then it turns into a losing day. Because think about it, your psychology goes to, I want back what I had, right? If I'm up $1,000, I continue to trade. Sure, I see a good setup, I take it. It's a loser. Maybe I'm up 800 now. The more of that money you lose, the more your psychology goes to, I just want back what I had. And now we're thinking about trading with a monetary focus instead of focusing on a setup. And that's when, you just start doing stuff. You just start clicking buttons because you're thinking about the money that you did have. You gave it away. And that happens, but you don't let it turn into a huge losing day. I do like the fact that this trader stopped at, a recoverable amount, right? Down 743 for the day, but just be very conscious of that, right? Maybe give yourself a percentage. Hey, if I'm up $1,000 on the day, I don't want to give back more than 40% or 20% or whatever, or I don't want to give back a daily loss limit. Right. If I'm up 1,000, my personal daily loss limit is 400. If I give back 400, I'm out. But some way to cut yourself off.
Yeah. Another thing I like to, Coach Jay, is worst trade, $300. Like
pretty good.
I just realized you could filter right here. Some of the biggest losses, $300, 300. And then when you switch it to the winners, the winners are double, if not triple right there. A lot of the losers. I love that. And that's probably that is why we're getting that this trader is getting that almost 3-to-1 risk reward, and they're perfectly fine, guy. You're only winning 36% of the time, 37% of the time, which means you're losing, 63% of the time. You're losing that's a lot, but you're still profitable because of that.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of keeping your losers small and being able to trade for tomorrow. All right, let's go through and move on to the next one. Let me make sure I clicked on.
All right. While you're pulling that up, Samson Family has a question. How do you stop revenge trading? I'll ask you a question. How beneficial has revenge trading been for you? Right. And the answer might be, it's not helpful at all. Right. And it sounds simple, but when you realize long enough that something doesn't help you, you have a decision to make, right? Anything we do with trading is a decision, right? Remember that. If I set my daily loss limit and then go in and change it afterwards, it's not, oh, the markets did something to me. I made a conscious decision to do something, right? And sometimes it's not a conscious decision, right? Sometimes we feel like, hey, we blacked out and we did something. I think it's important to try to realize what those triggers are that get you on tilt, right? I just had a meeting with some invite only group. I just want to let everybody know, Topstep is a company that really cares about traders. What MP and the team are doing is amazing, right? But everything we do with trading is a decision. Whether it's a decision that is in your best interest or not, that's on you. Sometimes we make bad decisions that come at the end of a trigger, right? I might lose a trade, be upset about it, and then make a decision that I'm going to try to get all that money back. It's still a personal decision that you made. So even revenge trading, It's a personal decision that you make. You have to ask yourself, is this decision in my best interest right now? Or do I have to just take the punch, get up off the canvas, and say, if I want to continue fighting, I'm going to protect myself better the next time. If Dakota got up after that kid knocked him down and just started swinging like a crazy person, guess what's going to happen?
Oh, man, I would have been, not good. Not good.
Right.
We see it happen all the time in fights, right? They get mad, they get upset, and they don't follow the process that they've set out, and that ends up, they end up getting knocked out, right?
Right. So
but
just
I was going to say on your decisions, Coach Jay, even not trading is a decision.
Yep. Yes, it is. Knowing when not to trade is super important.
Yeah. Okay, let's pull up this one. I can't pull up the next one for some reason. It wasn't loading, but I got this one pulled up. This has enough data. I'd say this one.
Which one is that?
You can see it on my screen. It's the very next one.
I can't see your screens, actually.
Okay, Marcus.
Okay, I'll find it. Yep.
Yeah, I hearted it. It's from your channel. So
gotcha.
I have been in this XFA since the first week of December. I haven't been consistent in my strategy or approach to the market, and my psychology has been bad, not being able to stick to the plan after a loss. I've caught myself trading not to lose, and it's affecting my P&L as I haven't been leaving my stop loss alone. So moving your stop loss when you believe you shouldn't be, so you haven't been leaving your stop loss alone. I have had a few XFAs in the past and have obtained 3 payouts with Topstep. Well, congratulations. That is a big accomplishment in and of itself. But that was back in July. I'd love to hear Coach Jay thoughts on this. I have 12 green days. I haven't had a positive balance in order to take a payout. So good work getting your payout back in July. I love to see there's plenty of statistics. This is a good example of what I was referring to. This is an XFA, Express Funded Account, and this is where you gain the most value. This is how you become a good trader, by keeping account alive, for being able to trade for tomorrow, so that way you can adjust. Because too many traders I see, they get into an account and they blow it before they can even have enough statistics to make an educated decision on how to adjust their trading. Like I wish I could just beat this point through over and over and over again, and I'm just get it through everyone's heads. It doesn't matter how much money you make or lose in a single day. and how fast you grow an account or blow an account. What matters more is your future. And if you could keep an account open trading small, you get the luxury of having statistics like this. So that way you could see the way you trade, you could adjust your process, and then you could feel that confidence. And then you could start to scale and size up and make money. So I can't stress the importance of having enough data so that way you could become a better trader. Too many traders get stuck in the process of big payouts, big money, and they can never gain this valuable data to know what they're doing wrong. So big shout out to you for sharing your trading statistics and sharing it when you're struggling. I see too many traders sharing positive statistics, right? I made $1,000 in 3 days, or $10,000 in 3 days. Review this. Now, it's not a knock on them, but this is where the value really starts to come in statistics. So let me know what you see on this, Coach Jay. I'm going to go through and let's see if I could see anything. I'm pretty sure they're trading. Go ahead.
First thing I want to say is shout out to this trader for keeping this account active with so many losing days in it. Right, more than half of your days are losing days, but the account is still active, and that says a lot about how you're approaching account management right now. You might be just be going through a streak of losing trades where things don't work out, and that's going to happen. But you're managing the account and keeping it alive, which is important. So shout out to you for doing that. The one thing I do see on a couple of days, there are some days where you were up and again went down, and same thing we said to that last trader, right? If you have significant profits, and significant is going to be different for every person, but if you have profits that meet your account's P&L highs for the most part, you have to work on securing some of it, right? If your average winning day is about $300, if you're at 350, you can't give back all 350 plus some, right? You got to secure some of that because those are the days that are going to keep your account alive, right? Where you had them. Some days you're just going to trade out the gate and things aren't going to go in your favor. It is what it is. Manage your downside. But when you make money, we have to try to secure it.
I agree. Yep. It's just like you recognize patterns in the markets. You need to recognize patterns in your trading statistics as well. I'm going through this trade report. So average trade duration is about 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes. And that's interesting. Immediately I'm like, you're trading way too fast for the way that I would like to see traders. And then I scroll down and I like this. I really do. Even though you have a lot of trades that happen quick, you are letting the winners run. So this is the curve that you really want on the win rate, where you're cutting those losses short, which I'm pretty sure that's why this average trade duration is so low. But then when you do get in a good position, it looks like you're just letting it run. So I like that. Every trade over 30 minutes is profitable. And so this is a good thing to see. And another thing I tend to do, let me just kind of walk you through the way I like to view it, is when you have enough statistics, you have that luxury to review them, like I'm saying, and then you can start recognizing patterns. Like, let's take a look. Of course, you didn't trade Christmas Day. You are trading every single day. So maybe some days do you have to trade, right? So maybe that is one of these where you could think to yourself, were you really feeling like trading on some of these days? I'd love to see journaling. Like, how were you feeling today? Were you sick and you still traded? Or did you have a long day at work, but you still traded and you ended up with a loss? And maybe some emotional journals, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, how am I feeling? What did you eat? Are you feeling good mentally, physically, XYZ? And some of those can come into play, right? And I'm looking at the number of trades. It's not.
I was just going to comment on that, Dakota. Look at today, the 29th.
Oh, wow. And yesterday too.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the amount of trades here in the time frame that they were taken, right? So took some trades last night. It looks like around 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then Started trading this morning, and there are about 60 trades between 10 a.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Eastern. Right? That's a lot. That's a lot of decisions. Just think about how many good decisions you're actually making in that short time frame. And I know you're trading micro, so you're scaling in and out, and it's going to count
Yeah.
each one as a trade. But how many of those might just be bad decisions? And you came out on top for the day, right? So great trading to get out of that. But that profit that you made on the day came from two trades pretty much, where everything else was kind of just scale in and out, real quick opportunities. And then if you think about what the price action was like this morning, it was a bunch of chop, right? While you were trading this. So waiting for some cleaner price action. I don't know exactly what your setups are. You might be a scalper and just looking for quick opportunities, but waiting for maybe some cleaner price action could help with having to make that many decisions in a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like it, right? This is a good thing. And maybe there's, I don't know this trader's exact strategy, but I mean, if we're looking at pattern recognition, right? Where if we look at the month of December, I mean, less than 10 trades on the majority on average, right?
Right.
There's only 2 days where you're in double digits. Same for the most of January, right? And then for just some reason, yesterday and today, you just placed more trades than you did all month. Now I know it says trades, but like you said, each entry when you're scaling in and scaling out does count as a trade. So I don't know if you're just like using like buy one, buy one, buy one, buy one, buy one, micros, and that's racking up the trades. Because I see some of them, it's all micros, which is good. But then there's like a 5, right? 5 micros, 4 micros. So I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell. It can be on this one.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the chat. Apparently, my audio is louder than yours.
I don't know. I turned you up, man. I turned you up on here because there's conversation. Let's go.
I think turn me down. My voice is annoying.
Yeah. Okay. We could do a
I'll just
remix.
go on mute.
We could
I'll
do a
just go on
remix
mute.
here. It's like Step Brothers.
Right.
All right. My main comment I think to this trader, keep doing what you're doing in terms of trading small and not blowing this account up, obviously, and focus on quantity over quality. Quantity over quality, or quality over quantity. Yeah. Less is more. Okay. Do not just place trades to trade. So find higher quality setups and then
Yep.
take them. Take them with confidence. Trade less. That's the only thing I can recommend without knowing exactly how this trader trades. And yeah, I don't know. That last comments on this before we switch to the next one.
I think I just agree with everything you just said. Quality setups, right? How many quality setups are you taking? And the lower quality, how can we eliminate those? And you're good. But again, great job keeping that account alive because there's a lot of losing days there. And most traders would have just given up by now, but you haven't. So keep going.
Yeah. Okay, last one. I'm gonna just go through this one. This is the last one. So I wish we could go through more. Time goes by so fast because I really want to spend time on these traders and give them a good in-depth analysis.
We could almost
Because
do an hour just of trade review, Dakota.
I know maybe one of these days we'll have to go through and do it. I enjoy doing it with you. Me, myself, and I is kind of boring, but with another
Yeah.
person, this is much better content for sure. So here's the last one. So Coach D would love to know when I should size up or when I can think to size up. So just as important as I was saying is sizing, like keep size small and keep the account alive before you start to find consistency, you have this. The trader's been in for about a month. They're starting to get enough data to be able to make good decisions based off your trading statistics. And then it's just, when do you size up? Well, I think you have to also understand how you're trading. So I would personally take a look at your daily loss limit, right? Where's your daily loss limit? How bad is your losing days? And so it looks like your worst losing day, $500. Okay. And if you can keep that as your worst losing day, what would it look like if you run into like a really bad week, like 10 losing days in a row? Can you handle that type of drawdown and still be okay? And can you handle that type of drawdown and not let it get to you mentally and not let it change the way that you trade and your process? So you need to answer that question for yourself. If I was just to look at this right now, you have a $2,300 account balance and your worst day was $500. That leaves you just over 4 bad days in a row. Now, 4 bad days in a row can happen. I would personally, now you can take this advice or not, it's my own personal opinion, wait until you get to at least $5,000, 10x your daily loss limit, before you consider sizing up. This is good trading. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Stay consistent doing this. And if you can stay consistent doing this, then essentially you will feel that confidence to size up. Let me look. I'm guessing micros, right? Yeah, micros.
Yeah, mostly micros.
Yeah, I like this. 5 micros, 5 micros, 5 micros for most of these, 3 and 1. That is perfect for this account size. And I can see that they're not trading every single day. I like that. Taking some days off, Mondays, Wednesday. This is kind of what you really.
Traders in the chat, Dakota, Parav said, I lost $500 on that first day and then adjusted the daily loss limit to not lose more than $200
Oh, okay.
In a day. Really good stuff there. Great adjustment. Great knowing, hey, that's a little bit too much for what I'm comfortable with. But with that being said, I think part of your question, like Dakota is saying, is when do I scale up? I would ask, I love answering questions with questions. Sometimes people don't like that, but what would be your reason to scale up here?
Yeah, that is the question, huh? When do I start scaling up? When do you feel confident? I would say if you have another month like this, and you could hold yourself to that $200 daily loss limit, then I would consider scaling up. And I think scaling up, traders look at that incorrectly. When a trader says scaling up, they typically double. Like, I'm going to go from 1 contract to 2 contracts. You're doubling your size, dude, right?
5 micros to a mini.
Yes. So I would not double your scaling up. That is a slippery slope that traders don't really understand. They go from 1 contract to 2 contracts. Like, hey, I'm going to go from 1 mini to 2 minis. But then they keep the same daily loss limit, or they don't have double the account size or whatever. That's a trap. It really is. It can be a trap. I would say try 6. You're trading 5 micros. And if you can feel confident trading 6 and trade 6 for a month, and then the next month, 7, and the next month, if you're still trading this same consistency, 8, and then maybe you have a bad month, and then you could be like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go back down to 5 and get that consistency back. There's nothing wrong with going from 5 micros to 6 micros to 7 to 8. And then maybe in a year, you're trading a mini with this same consistency. Like, it's just a matter of scaling, but you need to make sure you're scaling with confidence. You scale with confidence and do not let it change anything in the process. Process is more important. Now, I know traders don't want to hear, oh man, you're going to say a year until I get to a mini. It's better than
But
blowing accounts and in a year from now you're still trying to pass combine and get a payout.
right. I think what people neglect, and Joe Black wants to go to bed, so we'll end it here soon. But what people think is that if I don't scale up, I won't be able to pay myself. We're talking about somebody. Parav just put it in the chat. You took $500 out of this. You're scaling up slowly, like Dakota is saying. You're still going to be able to pay yourself, right? And build that account. What you don't want to do, like Dakota just said, is scale up too quick, and now I got to start everything from zero. Scale up slowly, right? You don't get your driver's license and then all of a sudden you're driving F1 cars, right? Like that doesn't happen. Scale up slow so you can continue to pay yourself as you get more comfortable with more risk. Because if you double your size and you're comfortable right now with $200 losing days, are you comfortable with $400 losing days?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, look at this.
That's going to be the nature of the P&L swings.
That's $2,000 in a month. Like
it's pretty good.
Life-changing money if you can do that consistency. I wouldn't expect this every month. I mean, I would be happy with an extra $1,000 a month on the side, and then you could slowly scale it, right? It's like anything. So keep up the good work. I like it. This is a nice bell curve for the trade count. I don't know how I feel about this win rate, though, where some of the losses you're holding a little bit longer, but this is good trades. I don't know how much that one bad day made an effect on it, but keep trading like this. Keep up the good work, and I think that scaling that we just talked about could apply to any trader. And anybody here in the chat who wants to scale up or wants to scale down even, or wherever you're at, I think it's a good example of when's the right thing is. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have, Coach Jay.
Awesome stuff, man.
Anything else? Stuff. I think we're good.
I got nothing else. Joe Black, good night.
All right, guys. Good night. Take care. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm not going to be on. I will see everybody tomorrow night. Appreciate you, Coach Jay. And yeah, take care, everybody.
Bye.